Thank you, everyone, for these beautiful words and beautiful thoughts and beautiful music. Thank you. Maxine would be a little overwhelmed, I think, by all of this. She never liked to be too much, and yet she loved it in the middle of a spotlight like this. And so I've met Maxine at a curriculum theory conference in 1973. She influenced my life ever since. I did my dissertation on her work, relating curriculum theorizing to her work in aesthetics especially, but also politics. And it's almost painful, I think, to try and express how much I miss her, how much we all miss her. And yet, Michelle, I think you said, I think in some very similar ways to what that I feel. I'm glad she's not here right now, because I think she would be so outraged by what this country is experiencing in terms of almost violent bifurcations of perspectives, that she would, we can all hear her raging, right? We can all hear her raging. And so I hear her voice in so much of my daily life, and for that I'm eternally grateful. So thank you all. This has been a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for speaking. And who would like to go next?
Susan.
I have some members of my aesthetics class, actually graduate class, who now feel like they're new members of this tribe here with us today. And as I told them, her New York Times obituary characterized her as the poet of the people. So I would just like to salute her for being extraordinary and ordinary at the same time, as we all are. I think of her not only as this incredibly visionary philosopher who was an incredibly powerful at putting out a message and a way of being in the world that reached so many people around the world and over time, but as a maker of casseroles, as a carrier of a pocketbook, as a wearer of glasses that dangled around, as someone who was still concerned about her appearance and wanted to please you if you were there at her house for a dinner party. So I don't want to say great and small, but she was a philosopher, extraordinary and ordinary, in the best sense of the word. And as we all are, I think a model for all of us.
Thank you, Susan. And there are some comments in the chat. Also, thank you for Maxine for making me see all these beautiful possibilities in the world in such dark times. For those of you who knew her, she loved the tree outside her window. You know, and that's, you know, noticing the trees are the first step. Someone else. Oh, Amanda, yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how incredibly generous she was, and Susan's talking about her ordinariness made me think about this, that there was no person that she made to feel like she was above them. If, you know, there was always an exchange of an idea and a respect for and an excitement about whether it was a student or a teacher or any person who was just engaging in dialogue. And that's what made being around her so lively and inviting.
Thank you, Amanda. Oh, Marita.
Hi, everybody. I guess I'm going to have to speak with this Irish accent just to kind of dilute the American voice. And just to say to all of you, thank you so much for having me here. I never had the pleasure of meeting Maxine Greene, but in the words of Mr. Darcy, she has bewitched me body and soul from the moment that I read her first journal article as a graduate student. And she continues to bewitch my students at Trinity College in Dublin because I used her writing to introduce aesthetics in music education. And really, you know, the lovely thing about her is we're united to her in spirit. We don't have her language. I don't have her language. I don't have her ability to express those thoughts, but we all share those thoughts. So, I mean, I just want to say happy birthday and thank you to Maxine and to all of you for inviting me to the party.
Thank you so much, Marita. It was so wonderful to hear your voice and your Irish accent. And I'm still on the lookout for hands. Wonderful, Carol. Thank you, Jean.
Happy birthday, Maxine. This is a wonderful time because there's community here. And I think it helps us all to get through what we're getting through these days. Some darkness, definitely. I also just wanted to remind everybody about Maxine's doing philosophy. And I think that the active part of that is something that that we can think about the way Bill talked about it too in his opening message. And, you know, it keeps you from going crazy, I think. So that's all. I just wanted to say that. Happy birthday, Maxine.
Thanks, Carol. Yes, Sandra. Oh no, that's Marietta. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Okay. Well, I had the pleasure of knowing Maxine for about 40 years, first as her student and then as a colleague at Teachers College. And she made a profound influence on my life. I'm very grateful to her. I use her book, Variations on a Blue Guitar, with my students. And they're always very impressed and moved and delighted when they learn about her openness to so much in the world. And just one thing recently, when I was at the Surrealism show at the Met and saw their catalog, I wished that she could be there, because the curators there are now finally opening to so much around the world and also questioning the structures of power that sometimes limit us, which Maxine did. So I just wanted to say thank you, Maxine, and happy birthday.
Thank you so much.